Hello everyone, my name is Nick Augustine from Lone Star Content Marketing in Denton, Texas, and I am pleased to introduce Heather Steele from Blue Steele Solutions, also in Denton. This is the inaugural episode of a new interview program to take place twice a month as Heather and I talk about small to medium-sized business development. Heather Steele is the Chief Marketing Officer for Blue Steele Solutions in Denton, Texas. She's a marketing professional specializing in interactive and web marketing. She practices innovative operations and process development with a knack for making the most of small marketing sales budgets and personnel. So, this is a new program. We're very excited to bring it to you all. Heather, let's go ahead and maybe introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background in the industry and the creation of Blue Steele Solutions and where that name came from.
Hi, Nick. I've been in the communications industry since about 2003. Specifically working in marketing. I've worked with some of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the world, Computer Associates, Match.com, Core International, some very big brands. After a few years of working with large organizations, it became very obvious to me that I really wanted to become an entrepreneur myself and also work with others like me, which is where the creation of Blue Steele Solutions comes from. So we started Blue Steele in 2008. The idea was to bring the processes and technologies that the large organizations use down to a 1 to 50 person business and really bring the efficiencies and the functions of their marketing and business development plans into play.
So really, anyone, you don't have to be a Fortune 500 company to market and do business like one. Is that about the right thing to say?
Exactly. So a lot of people think that it's outside of their budget, it's outside of their time scope, there's just no way that they can manage developing their businesses, being as efficient, using the similar processes that a large organization uses, when really that's not true. It's much easier for them to because they are a very small business.
So it seems like if they think big and act big, they can be big. So my next question is, how do you approach client projects from a business development and a goal-oriented standpoint as opposed to the feature-first or some may call design-oriented concept?
So we're a little bit different than most marketing organizations. We really focus on the audience and what the business's goals are with everything that we do. So it can be very tempting for a lot of marketing, especially design firms, to look at, oh, you need a new logo, let's see what the most modern design is, what's everybody else doing, and follow that trend. Or let's start with designing a really great looking website. When in actuality, that leaves the function of what you need to accomplish in the business out of the process. So we start with, first of all, evaluating who's your audience, what is it that they need from you, what does this particular piece of your marketing need to do to help your business grow, and then everything else flows from that. So really design is the last thing that we do instead of the first.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And you know, something that pops into my head is navigability. Of course, is so important, and being able to not only navigate that website, but for people to be able to navigate and understand the scope of the company involved really comes from having a clear and succinct message. So that sounds like that development goal-oriented process really is a holistic process. Is that a good way to look at it?
That's definitely a good way to look at it. And with putting the goals of the business at the center. So you mentioned a website. No matter how great your website is, no matter how great the copy is, if you don't have clear and consistent calls to action, that website's not going to perform for you. So we start with, who is the audience, what do you want them to do, and how does that affect your business? And then we build everything else around that. So all of the structure of the site, the architecture, the design, the content writing itself is all based around that goal of moving the audience through to perform whatever action it is that you need.
Well, it seems to me that there are a lot of companies out there today who offer niche services and unique different things, and sometimes as consumers and purchasers of services and products, we don't always know the next greatest thing that once we have it, we couldn't live without it. So it's really interesting to find a way to communicate the messages of what these products and services are to companies who, once they have them, think, my goodness, how did I ever operate without this? This is a wonderful product. So in an age when technology is really helping us grow and expand our reach, it's a really exciting time to operate a business like this and to help people. So my next question, Heather, is can you describe a typical client of Blue Steel Solutions and sort of identify what size companies you work with and, if any, what industry niches in which you operate attract the most attention?
So we really focus on small to medium-sized businesses. Our business is split between B2B, business to business, and B2C, business to consumers. So on the B2B side, we're really working with heavy industrial manufacturers and their supply chain. So helping a manufacturer attract great distributors and reps, support those distributors and reps through good marketing and through good support resources and good programs, and then also helping everyone along that distribution chain to do a better job with marketing and building their organizations. On the B2C side, we're focusing on companies who typically have a high-end homeowner as an end client. So we're looking at financial advisors, custom home builders, interior designers, people that work in and around that home typically, or just with high-end homeowners.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's an exciting time right now, especially with so many people moving to Denton County and so many new corporations and things going here. We're experiencing what seems to be like an endless housing boom. So I'm sure that it's a busy and exciting time for Blue Steel.
Yes, definitely. We stay very busy, and that's one thing that makes us a little bit different as well, is that we take a very measured approach to our growth. We're not accepting every client that contacts us.
Mm-hmm.
We are very particular about who we work with. You know, we want to have that good match in the end audience to make sure that you know, the strategies and the things that we can offer to them are going to be consistent with their business goals.
Mm-hmm. So in that, where a client may come to you and you may be at capacity and say, I don't want to not be able to do the best job possible, do you refer that client out to other people? Do you sometimes bring other people in on projects? I guess the question is there no job too small or no job too big if it makes sense and seems like a real good match with the specific niches and experience points that your team brings to the table?
Definitely, we have a great network that we can refer business out to. We try to get to know the other marketing firms in the area and across the country as well very well, so that we understand where other organizations who have created niches may be a better fit for people that come to us. And it's certainly not out of the question for us to work with other organizations. We definitely have partnered with people. A really good example is we do not offer search engine optimization. We will design the website, write the copy, build the website, but we don't specialize in SEO because it's a very specific niche, and it's something that really we believe that needs to be solely focused on. So we have a company out of New Jersey called Panman Marketing that we work with, and all of our clients who need SEO services are referred there. As a result of that, we have a great working relationship. We understand their processes, they understand ours, so we're able to work seamlessly as two very separate companies, but to give the client the experience of getting everything in-house.
Right, right. Well, and that's such an important thing, especially to small business operators who don't necessarily have time to run around and be the project manager, so to speak. They know what they want, and they're trusting one person to be sort of the central wheelhouse for that project. So it's a nice thing. So then all those services can really be run through Blue Steel, and Blue Steel can subcontract those through the right people. So that's a good thing to let people know. So I guess my next question is, I know that happy clients are always a source of new referrals, and you know, again, I come from the legal industry where lawyers cannot solicit and do business as normal people, so I come from the land of referrals, and I know that most people do business and share referrals with people they know, like, and trust in a business group, people they get to know over time. So I'd like to share some of the reviews that Blue Steel Solution has shared from some clients who know, like, and trust them as an example. And then, Heather, I'll ask you a little bit more about the process of seeking client satisfaction feedback from clients and how that works, and really some of the I think of the psychology involved in that. When someone asks me if they performed a job or a task for me, how did they do and how would I suggest that they make it better, it really gives a sense of ownership over the entire scope of the work to people. So I think that that's a very it's sort of a humbling experience as well, in being the balancing act between being the most confident in your services, but also knowing that there are things you might be able to do better. So first of all, I'd like to share with everyone just a handful of some of the comments that people have shared about Blue Steel, and this also gives an example of the types of needs and the types of questions and problems that people are facing, and what's in their thought process as they're looking for a good professional to help them. So a first comment was that Heather was very attentive and competently knowledgeable in our project. She was able to accomplish everything we wanted and needed and more. We're extremely happy with the result and would highly recommend Blue Steel Solutions to everyone. For purposes of these first few, I'm just reading these as anonymous quotes. Heather, if you want to chime in after I'm done with any specifics, go ahead. But the second one is that Blue Steel did a great job creating my firm's logo. While I had an appropriate amount of input on the logo, the follow-up, the different options I was given, it was a very good process. The next one is that the website looks really good, and Heather gave it that polished look. So many people like that. Great to have her as a resource. Another comment from a happy client was that I am not, and I hear this one frequently, I'm not computer savvy, and Heather did everything I wanted and more. Super easy website, excellent to work with. And folks, that is so important. Again, I talk about navigability with websites. I'm going to cite the example of social media and its influence in our worlds, where Facebook, let's take for example, the second Facebook changes their format where people go to click and look for things, people are easily frustrated. Same experience with websites. If something is navigable and easy to read and they know where, tabs that say services, or about us, that's what people are really looking for. So easy to work with websites, so important. The final comment from a client was that Heather provided exactly what I needed on time and on budget. What else could you ask for? I'll definitely be coming back for her for future work. So again, on time is so important. I remember years back, as sort of a little anecdote, after law school, I worked at a pizza place, and the comments was, hey Picasso, we don't need it to look like art. We need it to be edible. Push it through the line. Being on time is so important, and sometimes professionals, especially in the creative area, sit on projects for too long, and I've seen this, and they're almost afraid to deliver it to the client because what if the client doesn't like it? Well, if the client doesn't like it on the first time around, you go back and you revise it. With that client's input, that's where you really get the marriage of thoughts and concepts and end up getting a good product. So I'm sure Heather may agree with me on some of this, but Heather, I want to know a little bit more about your thought process in seeking client feedback, how your clients have felt about that, and what your suggestions might be for other people who are interested in doing similar feedback surveys for their work.
Definitely, one of the most important parts of our process is getting the client feedback. So as soon as we wrap up a project, we send out a basic form that asks our clients to give us a grade, asks them to give us very explicit feedback on the project. We ask for negative feedback. If it's there, we want to hear it. We always ask, what could we have done to make this project go better? And then which fortunately, most of the time we get very good feedback. If that score is high and they're a happy client, then we do ask for a review that we can share. So I think that automating that process is really nice for a few reasons. First of all, it's much less awkward to send a form that people can fill out and really give you their true feedback. If I just call the client and said, hey, tell me how you think that project went, chances are they're going to sugarcoat a little bit. They may not give me their true input, and I may really be missing out on some valuable information from that client. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I say is definitely automate it. First of all, it's easy to work it into your process. So for us, Typically, that form goes out automatically as soon as the last invoice is paid. So it's not something that we have to always be thinking about. Second, it really allows for some autonomy. People feel like they can tell a form anything, whereas to your face, they're much more hesitant to give you that honest feedback. And then third, it's definitely something that you need to take and work into your marketing. So for us, a good portion of our business comes from referrals. So when people are really happy with us and we get these great feedback, really good reviews, well, then the very next thing we do is let them know, hey, we would love to work with more people just like you. You're a great fit for our business. We really enjoyed working with you. So your friends and colleagues would be people that we would also really like to have an opportunity to work with. So it kind of closes that loop on making sure that you're getting the review, you're getting the good feedback on the project, and then you're asking for a referral.
Right.
That's a really important thing to do is if there is negative feedback, which even we get from time to time, it would have been great if this had happened, or we would have appreciated X, Y, or Z in our project. We always find a way to address that, and especially when it makes sense, we'll come back to the client and say, thank you so much for that feedback. This is how we're going to work your suggestion into our process. This is how we're going to make it better going forward. So anytime that there is some really good ideas, or just a client expresses any sort of frustration with the process or the experience they had with us, we assure them that we have heard them. We are going to take accountability for that, and we're going to work it into the process so that the next time they work with us, or a friend works with us, or even just someone they don't know in the future is working with us, those things are fixed. So they can be assured that any referrals they send to us in the future, they don't have to worry about that issue coming up again.
All right. Well, that's a really good thing. And my only comment to add to that is collaboration and innovation involve diverse experience, and there may be people out there who have had experiences working with a whole variety and different levels of quality and different levels of expectations. The only other thing I'd like to note is that it's always nice to talk about an organization with a team concept, and where there are more than one person involved in the project, it may be easier for someone who wants to give constructive criticism to help you as the principal learn how you may be able better to manage your team. So it's sort of like director to director type of comments and feedback allows people to be more comfortable sometimes, even if they know that it may be the principal who is the person they're thinking of could be doing something better. But again, it's the open and honest working relationship there. That is what someone is going to appreciate when they give a referral. If I'm going to give a referral to someone, I want to give the referral to someone I know is going to work with someone and accept feedback and try to do the best job they can, knowing that their name really is everything. So moving forward, because we're trying to stick to our 15 to 20 minutes here, again, this is going to be twice a month we're going to do this program, and we want to give everyone a call to action for our next program here. We'll call it the Marketing Challenge. We'll see what Heather thinks of this. My concept and my idea here is it's really easy. Take a one-page and either write it up, or maybe take a page and sketch it out or draw it with symbols and pictures and ideas, like a brainstorming word cloud, and make it about what your business currently does, how you conceive your marketing concept, and maybe what would you like to do? What have you always wanted to do and said, well, I just don't know how to implement that? What's your wish list for marketing and business development? And let's say make it a goal that's measurable and specific. And on our next show, Heather will try to tackle that and approach some solutions. Heather, what do you think about that idea?
I think that's a great idea. I think the most interesting thing will be to see what people's goals are when it comes to their business. That's something that we usually spend a lot of time working with clients on, what are your goals, and are those goals really appropriate? Are you focusing on the right things? Are you focusing on features or functions? So that will definitely be an interesting one that we'll be excited to tackle.
Right, and are you shooting too low in your business? Some people say, I want to make this much, I want to do this, change things up. Sometimes we're so tunnel vision in our own concept of our companies and our processes that we can't see that there's potential there. So that'll be a fun thing. So again, this is also a way to make this a program that's interactive with other folks who can join us on our Google Hangout, which is what we're using to broadcast these programs. Again, the better that we can get used to these Google Hangouts, the more we can help other people as well. Because as technology moves forward, there are new innovative ways to bring everyone to the table and increase that dialogue. As you know, Heather, I particularly enjoy this creative process and sharing information that inspires people to act. So what are some of your goals for this program that we might do on future episodes with our friends and neighbors? What are some of your ideas on why we're doing this, how we're doing this, and how we can get other people excited?
I think first and foremost, we definitely need to be honest and say that this is definitely an experiment, something that we haven't done before. And so we are not professional Google Hangouters at this point. But my goal with this is really to take the kind of conversations that you and I have, Nick, where we come up with our clients and we talk about our businesses and share that. Because I think that we really do come up with some great ideas. And we discuss some things that I often walk away thinking, I wish this client had been a fly on the wall so they could have heard this conversation, understood this process. I think it's a great way for us to take the things that we know are important in people's businesses and share them. Not everyone is ready to start working with a marketing firm. Not everyone has the budget for it at this point. So if we can't work with them directly, we can share information and hopefully as we start to grow this and we have more people joining us, we can learn a lot from the people that are participating as well. Because I don't know about you, but every time I work with a new client, I always learn something from the way that they're conducting their business, things that they've tried in the past, or just their own personal experiences. It's always a chance to learn something new and add something to our toolkit.
Oh, very much so. You know, and it's also true that we all learn from each other in, you know, within the creative fields and creative processes in those worlds. You know, all of the people who work in marketing, business development, and advertising belong to different groups. And, you know, for example, I belong to Public Relations Society of America. That's a whole different, you know, ball of wax and different people in different seminars I might be attending as opposed to what Heather might be attending or another person we invite on this group. So, you know, these Google Hangouts and these programs can be for helping clients. It can also be other creative professionals who want to join in the process and share with us some things that are going on. So also, as we're going to wrap this up, we'll also try to share with people the opportunity to let people know about things going on in the community. Heather and I are both Denton area chamber members. I'm a new joiner. I'm going to go to more events. Heather, you always seem to have your pulse on the finger on the pulse of business here in Denton and know about good events coming up, as you've shared some with me. So is there anything off the top of your head that's coming up soon that people might want to add to their calendars?
Definitely. There's always a lot going on around town. Some of the big things coming up, obviously the chamber. We've got the membership luncheon coming up on September 12th. You'll want to be at that because it'll be your first membership luncheon. So that'll be a great way for you or anyone else who's recently joined the chamber to really get acquainted, start getting into the right subgroups, and to make some good connections. Another thing, and that's September 12th. Another thing that's coming up soon on the 19th, there will be a little happy hour in the evening for the Women in Commerce. That's also through the chamber. I don't know if it's a women-only event or if it's just sponsored by Women in Commerce. You might check denton-chamber.org under the events tab, but that one will be at Hannah's on the square at, I think it's 7 o'clock on the 19th, so check that one out. The other thing that is going to be really exciting that's coming, and that I think a lot of our local clients would be really excited about, there is a word camp, which is like a WordPress boot camp / 2-day workshop that's coming to Fort Worth. It's going to be October 4th and 5th. That's going to be a great opportunity for clients who want to take ownership of their website, take it to the next level, learn more about how people are conducting businesses that are based around WordPress. There will be tracks for everyone from the beginner, the blogger, the designer, developer, people like myself that have a business that's really centered around WordPress, there will be a track for business people to learn more about how they can do a better job working with clients, automating their business, writing better proposals, all the things that we need to do to increase business. We'll be talking about that there as well. So that's going to be in Fort Worth on October 4th. So those would be the big things that I would keep on the radar.
Those are good things. I was looking over at my calendar. I have an opening on Friday the 12th. I'll be there. There's just one last thing that I'd like to note. When people, if you're watching this or listening to this on our podcast channel in the audio format, understand that there are some businesses who are new to doing a lot of marketing and business development, and they want they want products and products they can use, like a website, different social media things. But most of us in the creative field are quite happy to work as consultants and teach people how they can do some of those things themselves, because we understand that many people might want to take advantage of opportunity where their own staff can implement some of the things where Heather's team, for example, might create the process and set them loose, and you may still work with some other subcontractors on things like content. That's like my firm. We write people's blogs and social media. As other people might want to do that in-house, but so there's all sorts of ways when working with a marketing firm, and really there should be. I think that everyone should talk to someone in their creative arenas around town to talk about what might we do to take our business to the next level. And some people might be afraid to approach people and professionals with those conversations. So maybe during these hangouts and these processes, that can be a good opportunity for Q&A, so on and so forth. So we'll share right now ways to get in touch with me. My website is LoneStarContentMarketing.com. I look forward to having the people at Blue Steele make my website better and better than it can be, because it could probably use it. But Heather, how can people get a hold of you to continue this dialogue and ask their questions?
So the best way to get us is to go to our website, bluesteelsolutions.com. That's blue, S-T-E-E-L-E, solutions.com.
All right, wonderful. Well, Heather, I thank you for your time. I've enjoyed this first interview. We've gone over our 20 minutes, but I think that we covered a lot today, and I hope that people get involved and get in touch with us and really go to those websites and share us your ideas. We'll also be putting this. What's cool about these Google Hangouts is that this will automatically convert to a YouTube video, which has increased benefit. We didn't even touch on that. But as we promote these things, we'll ask for people to chime in and give us your one-page marketing sheet, or give us your scratches or your diagram of what it looks like, and maybe we'll upload that under screen share if you're happy, or maybe we'll just read those. This is a place where we want everyone to feel comfortable and excited about marketing and business development, because again, we are in a huge growing market, and there are all sorts of people moving to North Texas. I don't know how many per day like it was before, but it's certainly a great area to grow business, and we're both quite happy to help everyone. So, Heather, do you have anything else to add? Anything else to add, Heather?
I'm not really sure what you just finished saying, because that awesome charter internet seems to have messed you up there. But
all right.
I'll close on out with just saying that we're really excited to kick this off. I don't know if Nick said this or not, because I couldn't hear him, but this is definitely a very organic thing. We want to grow it along with all of you, all 5 of you. There's 5 people watching us right now. Hello. So moving forward, definitely we will be turning on the group chat, let people send in questions. We will probably both be sending things to our mailing list, so if you're not on our mailing list, go to the websites, get signed up so that we can let you know what's coming up. You can send in your questions. For the next one, definitely send over your drawings or your write-ups about your marketing, so that we can really help you and give something back during this time.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, that's pretty much what I covered as well. So, again, sometimes charter, internet, I don't know. We do the best we can with the technology we're given, right? So, all right. All right, well, see everyone later.
All right, bye-bye.